Alright. Alright. I'm gonna be vulnerable with y'all for a minute. I know not a lot of people care, and a lot of people have been hearing a lot of things, probably hearing some things right now. But you know what? I'm gonna just say it. I was going to record a podcast on Sunday, Sunday, January 26th, the day that changed a lot of people's lives. You see, I hadn't gone to church for whatever bad reason. So I woke up and then I went back to sleep. And then I woke up at 2 and I was like, when I wake up and record a podcast. And when I wake up, I see a message from my friend. And what he wrote, I couldn't believe it. So I went on Twitter because, if anything, if you hear something on Twitter, then you know it's real. And when I went on Twitter, just a line of the same headline over and over and over again. Then it got to the point that I'm no longer in disbelief. And then as the days developed, or as the day developed even, I'm hearing all this crazy thing. And if you can't tell by the title, or you're just stumbled on this podcast wondering what I'm talking about for whatever reason, it was Kobe Bryant dead in a helicopter crash. And honestly, I was excited before all this happened. You see, my birthday was on that Wednesday, January 29th. Same day as Oprah, same day as Aisha Dang. It was my 23rd birthday, my Jordan year. And not only that, it was on a Wednesday. And I was born on a Wednesday. And they say every 7 years you're supposed to have your birthday on the day you were actually born. And so it didn't happen when I was 17, it didn't happen when I was 21, because of leap years always messed it up. But for some particular reason, this year, my birthday turned out to be on a Wednesday. And lately, my birthday, I stopped caring about my birthday. My birthday wasn't special anymore. Because, once you can drink or party, especially with the personality type I have, I'm not a good person to go to the club with or anything. But the facade had faded for me. But I was like, wow, Jordan year, this year is going to be special. So I was looking forward to it. And then the news hit. Kobe Bryant dead. And then TMZ reporting all this. And then ABC, his daughter is dead too. And then a parent and other basketball. So then it was a parent and a daughter and a coach dead as well. And, I'm not even getting into this whole shady thing where TMZ apparently dropped the news story before Vanessa and her children knew. I'm not even going to talk about the fact that the numbers kept changing. It went from Kobe and his daughter to 5 other people to 9 people to 11. And honestly, prayers, but I'm tired of it. And not tired of it in a sense that I don't want to hear it, but it's just absolutely heartbreaking. Because, you see, this past week, against my will, I have been going, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going on Twitter, and every day it seems to be that there's a new story, someone's new post, someone's new dedication to Kobe Bryant, which truly shows he was an exemplary man. And I was reading this article yesterday. Yesterday was my anniversary with me and my girlfriend, 2 years. While we're waiting for our food, I'm reading this anniversary of what one of my friends posted about how black men mourn. About how when Kobe died, she was with her friend, and then during it was at Sundance, And then he just started balling. He tried to hold it back the entire day, but once the film started, he started balling. And then 2 other men started balling as well. And, Kobe was like a superhero. Everyone's been telling their Kobe story. And maybe you don't want to hear mine, but I'm going to tell it anyways because it's my podcast. Take it or leave it with a grain of salt. But the thing is, I like basketball. But, I'm not the biggest basketball fan. And, I'll catch a game here and there. Or even, I definitely watch the playoffs, especially Toronto, because, from Canada. And we've been doing especially well, even though Kawhi Leonard is on our team this year. And before last year, it was a bunch of disappointments that we came so close. Then we lost DeMar, we got Kawhi, we got the ring, we made history. People who invented basketball finally got a ring, a different country, And even this year, people are like, Spicy P, Pascal Siakam will never be an all-star, despite him becoming most improved player. And then, without Kawhi, the Raptors are still doing great. But nonetheless, I'm not watching every game, but I keep in touch with the memes, with Stephen A. Smith and all this other, hooboo. I like it. It's funny, but I started watching basketball 2006, maybe a little earlier, and I think it was a Lakers game for sure, and I think they were playing the Celtics, and I started watching Kobe and Shaq days, when they were tearing it up, and Lakers became my favorite team, and they were my favorite team for a long damn time. And Kobe wasn't my favorite player. I like Kobe, but my favorite player was Dwayne Wade on the Heat, despite that being a super team at the time with LeBron and Chris Bosh, who also left the Raptors, what I was pissed about, but whatever. But Kobe, he, even now I'm tearing up thinking about it and talking about it. The inspiration he had for, I don't know if it's just black people or people of color or just people in general, but he was a man that proved, despite anything, you can be something. I'm tearing up right now even talking about it. It was also in the article I read yesterday saying how he could have been just another one of those celebrities that was met with scandal with the whole rape allegation charge, but he didn't let that become his story. He made it sure that his story was about perseverance and always being ahead of your game, being one step, always being the first person at the gym at 4 a.m., the last person out at 11 p.m., 12 a.m., I remember, I don't know if it came out last year, but it was that photo of Kobe and his girls, because he's the coach, right? And it said, 2 years ago, we lost to them 22-21 or 22-20. And look at us now. And the score was 127-21. And everyone was making their jokes yo, Kobe, what you do to these girls and everything. But that Mamba mentality, that is truly what Kobe is. That even if you're down and you're out 22-21 1 year, you can come back in 2 years if you work hard enough with enough perseverance and destroy them. 127-21 just a few years later. And I remember I watched Kobe's his last season. I was pretty there with it. And then I watched his last game and I cried, the man tore his femur or his, he put up 40 his last game to get the Lakers into the playoffs, and then they got swept by San Antonio. Sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Sister went and my dog started barking. But yeah, Kobe just it's heartbreaking. Like he was, I would say, one of the few. He's like up there, and there's a lot of discussion that I saw too that everyone was always arguing who's better, LeBron or Jordan, or Kobe or LeBron. And it's just even more heartbreaking that LeBron passed his Kobe record, and then not even like 12 hours later he passed away. And it's just, it's crazy to me that he's gone. And you know, going back to the whole, I like basketball. It's interesting. It's fun to watch. But I'm not the biggest basketball fan. When he died, it was one of the weirdest experiences I've ever experienced in my entire life. Because, you know, in the last few years, we've had a couple celebrity deaths. Like, you know, like when Avicii died a couple of years ago, I was like, damn, that's sad. I mean, sometimes, like, Don't Wake Me Up comes on the radio and you listen to the lyrics. And then the fact that he died by suicide, I'm just like, wow, he was so young, 28, and, you know, his lyrics were kind of, or his music was kind of indicative of how he was feeling, and took his life. And then X died a couple years ago too, getting shot up. Like, he wasn't the greatest person, but, you know, his music was not bad, you know. I would bump to it sometimes, and it looked like he was trying to change his life. But too late is too late. And then last year, like end of the year, Juice WRLD died, and, you know, another person with like sad music tones, but still sad to see someone go, especially since like so far, like, you know, a lot of black people die, young black men. But then when Kobe died, it was like someone in my family died, and it was a weird feeling. It's a feeling that I have not experienced. Yeah, it's a feeling that I haven't experienced since about like 4 or 5 years ago. Like in 2016, my Uncle Mark passed away. And to me, it's one of the weirdest things because I wasn't necessarily close to my Uncle Mark, you know? Like, I knew him, but he was like, being honest with you, my Uncle Mark, he was a bright kid, one of the brightest kids, but then he always got caught up in the wrong crowd, so he was always on the wrong side of the law and everything. But kind of like what I was saying earlier, he was trying to turn his life around. Recently, he was living healthier, and even now, I think about the last like 2 interactions I had with him. Like one time, like I was at Matterville Town Center, which is close to my house, and this was, I don't know if it was before I feel like it was before I had a car, or I was going downtown or somewhere, but I had to fill in my Presto, which is like my bus pass, and I'm like in the convenience store, and then some dark-skinned man is like standing there staring at me, and I'm like, why is this guy staring at me? And he walks up to me and he's like, Kevin, you know who I am? And I look and I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even know it was you, Uncle Mark. And the other time, I was turning left to go home, and a guy, I know my Uncle Mark on the bike, then I honked the horn to just make him look at me, and then the guy gave me the finger, and then I rolled down the window, and I'm like, what the hell, Uncle Mark? And he's like, oh, I thought someone was trying to hit me or flip me off or whatever. But yeah, and that was like the last few memories I have of my uncle. And then December really, right before my grandparents' 50th anniversary, he passed away because some of the weed he smoked was mixed with fentanyl, and it killed him. And I didn't know that. I found that out recently, actually. But still. And when he died, there's another vivid memory I have with my Uncle Mark, was that I think I was like 12 or 13. I think it was grade 6. 12 or 13, whatever. And I remember I had seen The Golden Compass in theater because my cousin Rachel took me. And I told him I guess, I don't know, I was hanging out with him or whatever before, and I told him I really liked The Golden Compass. And then my Uncle Mark comes to Christmas, I guess my birthday's in January, so I guess it would be like the year following, or maybe I told him before I watched the movie, something like that. But anyways, he comes to Christmas after I told him I enjoyed the Global Compass, so I thought the Golden Compass was cool, and he bought me his Dark Materials, so which is the entire like 800-page franchise. So like, I guess it was like all the books all into one, and he bought it for just me. And I remember my aunt was like all pissed. He's like, Mark, you can't do that. If you can't just buy one thing for one kid and then not leave out the other kids. But then he was like, he said he liked the book series, so I got it for him. And you know, it's been a couple times that I tried to read it, but at the time, like, I was like I was like in high school by the time, or I was getting to the point in my life where like I didn't read books as much. I was starting getting to the internet, you know, I started getting my iPod Touch and then Facebook and YouTube. So I wasn't reading as much as I used to, because when I was younger, like, all I did was go out, play with my friends, watch TV, and then read at night. But anyways, so yeah, since that, I've been trying to just finish the book in his memory, but like, it's just these memories now are just making me well up with tears. And now, looking back, thinking about it, it's wild that I like the feel. And even when he died, I was sad, and I didn't know how to feel about it, because like I said, we weren't close, but you know, still my uncle, still my dad's brother, my aunt's brother, you know, my grandparents' son. And he wasn't always the best. Like, he didn't always make the best decisions, but you're still our family, right? And I remember, like, I guess for the longest while I was in shock because I didn't know how to feel. And then we're at the funeral, and then my sister's giving his eulogy about how she always thought she was a really good writer and everything. And then she made, for one of her papers, she made our uncle read it and give him feedback. And he said to her, "You write too much filler, it's full of shit," or something along those lines. And then she got really mad, and she's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then she ended up getting like a 50 or 60 on the paper. And then kind of what he said was along the same lines what the professor said. But she said since then she'd always, you know, wrote better essays thanks to that. And it's these things that are in my mind, and it's how I feel. And I didn't cry, but after she said those things, just listening to the music, I started crying. And then again, when we went to the graveyard and we let him down, and I heard my grandma screaming, "No, no, my son is gone, my son is gone." And then my grandpa, one of the most stoic people I've ever met in my entire life, shed a tear. I decided I'd never be like that, you know, I'd have to be strong for my family. And then now, those feelings, which, you know, I hadn't felt in so long, I'm feeling for Kobe Bryant. And I never met him, and it's I don't know why, it's like bringing back my uncle, maybe because Kobe was bald, or like my Uncle Mark was kind of bald too. But it's the same thing that, you know, we, like, it's not like he was my best friend, buddy, lock arms in arms. I wasn't following his every single move, especially since he retired, but Kobe meant something to me. My Uncle Mark meant something to me. And now that they're both gone, it's just, wow. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, you know, I'm just gonna have a little moment of silence for them. So, thank you for listening. If anyone actually does listen to this, and if you are, commenting down a story. Maybe not your Kobe story, but a story like mine. And let me know. Because I think right now, not just the black community, not just basketball community, but everyone's feeling lost right now. And, I'll talk about the coronavirus in my next episode, but wow, it's just crazy to see he's gone and other people in my life are gone. So, thank you. Peace.